know that that is a WICFA TV, not SL Fans TV, but those no balls were disappointing, Ezra, man.
Yeah, so Laxif bowled about 5 no balls. This is a guy that
Oh,
has no delivery stride. He has a delivery walk.
good evening. Welcome to Ultra Edge on WICFA TV. Tonight I have with me the one and only Ezra Hines. What's up, Ezzy?
I hear, man. Yep.
All right. I'm the Doc, and we're going to be going through today's play. First day of the second test, West Indies versus Sri Lanka. What are your thoughts, Ezzy, starting with the team selection? Because on the last program, you were asking for some changes in order to enforce what you saw to be a possible win. So, what do you think about these changes, or the lack of changes, I should say, that the West Indies went for in their
Yeah,
team selection?
yeah, well, we could ask, but you might not receive, as in the case today. I found it very, very strange that we still maintain with the 5 fast bowlers. Normally you would hear that you can't change a winning team, but we didn't win. So obviously the selectors have a certain level of confidence that these guys, given a second shot at the cherry, will be able to bring home the win. I'm still confident in the win, but it's a very left side decision to me to be able to pick the same combination, knowing that we just played. uh, I think we only had like 3 days or so in between the two matches. So I would figure with the players running all around those pitches that you would definitely use your second spinner, second specialist spinner. But the selectors, not for the first thing, have decided that they can't drop anyone for non-performance on a tour. And while we're on,
Well,
yeah, you could go ahead.
well, non-performance in a two-test tour, Ezra Hines. Do you think that maybe that there's some validity in that? That what would a player coming in now, fresh? What would he really have to gain if, for example, his performances were mediocre? So maybe they decided, you know what, let's keep the same guys for this next test. The performance wasn't terrible, and hopefully they'll make another stride. Maybe Gabriel will hit his straps. Maybe Joseph will find the right lines and lengths to bowl on this wicket. So maybe that was in their thinking. What do you think about that?
Well, for me, dropping Gabriel was never an option. It didn't sit well with me to drop our premier fast bowler for the last few years, the outside of Jason Hole, I would say. But the you touched on a point with this whole two-test series and the problems that are associated with that, and that is one of the major flaws of a two-test series. You cannot, in good conscience, drop a player for non-performance unless it's brought about through injury. That's the only way you or injury or the player having to remove themselves for personal circumstances. That's the only way players
Oh,
normally don't play ball.
right. So therefore, as you do see the point, then you
No,
do see what the
I do
selectors
see
were
the
thinking
point.
and keeping the same squad.
I I do see the point to some extent. It's just that this particular time, to me, it wasn't as much the non-performance issue because I didn't really check in for Joseph's 1 wicket or the fact that he might add to the batting. I wanted the second spinner because I was playing on a pitch that we have been using since January for Super 50, and I would figure that it will break up at some point in time. And speaking of the pitch is totally dead of grass. There's zero grass on that pitch. Curtly Ambrose this morning said the pitch had dead grass. If you looked at the pitch in front of where third slip was, from one of
See a
the
lot more green.
yeah, that's a pitch to me. A pitch has green live grass on it to hold it together for the number of days you're going to play a match, you know. But we've been accustomed to playing these uh, dead grass pitches that I really think we need to rethink that strategy.
Right. So Ezra, that was on team selection. So you weren't happy there. What about the closer play score? What do you feel about where the West Indies are positioned now in relation to what you wanted to see and what you believe the team management wanted to see? Did you think they hit all the necessary objectives that were laid out in the team meeting for the closer play on day one? Your thoughts?
I think Phil might be a little disappointed by the approach, but not necessarily by the end position. So the approach by some of the batters, they rode their luck and they got away with it. Kyle Mears with the 49. You had Joseph doing his thing with 30 odd or something, and then Cornwall is in the 40s as well. Now, all of them played very aggressive innings. Blackwood is the only one that started. He got a start, but he fell, in the same tradition.
Jason Holder was also very aggressive too. Very
Yeah. Holder
aggressive.
got 30.
He came
30
out with
odd.
real intent today.
Yeah, Holder got 30 odd and doing the same sort of thing. So we
But I
scored
like
that.
Holder today, man.
Yeah, we
He
scored
looked
at three.
dangerous, man. He looked really dangerous.
Yeah, we scored at about 3.5 today. So all things considered, there's some guys that really stepped up, and this is after Craig is going at basically SR 50, having back from the beginning of the innings. So I would say that it's, I think you'll take the position you're at right now. And we're not finished. We still have Cornwall, who has a first class century, has about 4, let's say, centuries, and Craig doesn't want to move. So you still have some potential to put on another 50, 60 runs. And I would think that that's a good position to be in.
So basically, you're looking at what 330 to 350 as being a good score, a good first inning score on this wicket.
I would say that, as I said, we've been using these pitches since January. I don't see a 500, and a leader 150 from Sri Lanka. I don't think that Gabriel will have another totally bad game. I would expect that Joseph will want to prove a point for the selection because he knows that his batting is only going to keep him in the team for so long. But if you have Mears, if you have Jason Holder, you don't have room.
Then you're looking definitely for him to contribute something with the ball.
Exactly. You don't have room for Joseph playing the same role. And I just want to say something that I said before with Joseph. No, I don't have a problem with any player. To me, every player who's eligible for the West Indies team, I support them. When I said before that we don't have time to do what we did with Gabriel, with Joseph, it's because we can't build on a model of happy-go-lucky, selections and hunches. You have to bring something to the table. So you would have a hunch player every now and again, but that cannot be the basis of your selection for your framework for putting together an international
going forward.
Team. Yeah.
Right, especially if you want to move up that test table.
So,
Ezzy, standout players from today, buddy. Which one of those players or which set of players really caught your imagination or that impressed you today? So we have Braffett, of course, has to be leading, led from the front today, man. He really stepped up when he needed to. The pressure was on. We are down in WICFA Facebook, WICFA WhatsApp, and he's been getting loads and loads of pressure from the fans, man. The fellow fans have not been impressed with his contribution, but today he definitely put his hand up and said, "Yes, I am here." Passing 4,000 runs as well too. So I mean, and the fact that only 16, he's the 16th player, like that really surprised me in terms of the history of West Indies cricket. I know that back in the day before the war, guys weren't playing that much cricket to accumulate those numbers, but still 16 only. That puts him in some elite company there. He stepped up today, so he's one of my standouts for sure. Who are some of your standouts there, Ezra?
Yeah, and let me just pick up on that. It's just like Kemar Roach. When you look at where he stands in the all-time list by just taking just over 200 wickets or something like
200
that.
wickets, yeah,
Or
man.
we have not really been that dominant as some people think. You know, we had a period where everything went well for a decade, but on either side of that, like we had players that genuinely struggled, even the really, really good ones, the greats. No, yeah, kudos to Craig. Having been named captain, I know he would have needed and wanted that performance. And just hope that he gets that run tomorrow and then push on from there to show that it's more than just, you know, the personal milestone, is actually, you know, taking the lead and shepherding and farming strike and, you know, not worrying about carrying your bat. And because that's another record you can look at, how many times the opener has carried his bat, and hopefully Craig will just ignore all that and try to get that additional 50.
And keep batting as he has
just
been.
keep batting.
So that's our standout.
Well,
Not on
that's
99
obvious,
heading in
but
tomorrow morning.
I would say
Who are the other?
I would say Cornwall, because Cornwall has been under pressure since he started. Cornwall came into the West Indies team with a reputation of being a batsman, and he's not really showing it. Cornwall today was averaging 12 at the start of his innings, and Alzari Joseph is batting before Cornwall. Cornwall's a guy that can open the innings in a Lycée match, so he definitely wanted to show that he has the goods to, you know, to just perform at the role that he's given currently in the team.
So Cornwall's a standout. What about the Sri Lankan side? On the Sri Lankan side, who stood out to you, man?
Well, Latmal, obviously, he's the guy that is the nemesis, and
He's been very, very impressive, man.
yeah,
I keep saying on WICFA Facebook that he's asking all the questions and not getting the answers. I mean,
yeah,
he keeps pausing, interrogating in defense techniques. And really truly, some guys have been found wanting. Once again, Campbell outside off stump. You know what I mean? Once again, Ezra.
When you can bowl 6 overs for 0 and take 2 wickets in the first spell of a test match, like something has to be going right.
And then the first runs comes off of fortuitous inside edge by Mears, and then another edge by Mears. Those are the first runs taken from him.
Yeah,
he's been excellent. He's been excellent on these in these 2 tests.
I think if the captain had pulled him at that point before he bowled at 7th, you could look at like some records basically with that sort of returns for opening bowler. But outstanding. You can't say anything else about that.
Can't say anything else.
Yeah, but
what was some? So now the next question, now the lowlights of today. What were the points in both teams that really disappointed you? For me personally, one of my lowlights has to be the no balls bowled by spinners from Sri Lanka. Yeah. I mean, as a lover of Test cricket, that was disappointing. And I know that is a WICFA TV, not SL Fans TV, but those no balls were disappointing, Ezra, man.
Yeah, so Laxif bowled about 5 no balls. This is a guy that has no delivery stride. He has a delivery walk, and he's bowling 5 no ball. I do not understand from a coaching perspective how you can do that. I have this policy that.
But as before you get to that, what really surprised me is that how it was taken by the Sri Lankan team. I didn't see anybody berating him, nobody going off on him. But I know some team captains I've seen in Test cricket in the past who have been through the roof, busting their veins out at that level of carelessness.
If it was captain,
everybody was just casual, like whatever.
If it was captain after the second no ball, he wasn't bowling for the rest of the day. It's straight. You cannot have a delivery walk and you cannot see that you're putting your foot in front of the line. Like, even I just don't understand it. Like, there's nothing in terms of mechanics that would want me as a spinner with that sort of approach to the wicket to get my heel to be in jeopardy of going over the popping crease. There's
Yeah, it
nothing.
was disappointing. It was
And
disappointing,
the
Ezra.
thing is,
That was my low light for today.
when you look at it, right, the Sri Lankans were short about 3 or 4 overs, and he bowled 5 no balls. So
Yep, that was
technically, the
over there,
overs
you know
were with
that.
him because
Yeah,
if you think about it, no balls are not called on field. They're called by the third umpire, and sometimes
so that's delay
the
time.
guys are
That's
changing.
short.
If that no ball comes on the sixth ball, the guys are there looking to change, and then the umpire just sticks out his hand 30 seconds later. So all that is slowing down the game. So he kind of cost them at least maybe 2 more
Like
overs.
maybe over half. Yeah,
Yeah,
two
over and a
overs
half.
easily,
Yeah,
easily.
because when you think
Yeah,
about it, I think the last over when Craig was batting, the clock was showing 5:31. So even if it's a half an over, as long as you start that over before 5:30, that's a whole over you could have bowled. So I would say it's 2 overs he wasted by bowling those no
two
balls.
overs
Yeah.
easily. So that was our low light. So tomorrow, Ezra, looking forward to what? So you said 3:30. About the first hour, Craig is going to come out the way he came out this morning, I assume. Possibly look to consolidate some more. Cornwell plays the same field. The same if it's up, see ball, hit ball. Keep it
Yeah.
simple as he always
Cornwall.
does.
And we must mention though the thing with Cornwall that has been very impressive. They can't bowl short to Cornwall. Cornwall is going for it.
He
They
has
bowl
improved on
short
that. When I saw him in
in
England,
front of
and
square.
he was yes,
It's
he was a
like,
walking target in England, but he's
yeah,
managed to sort that out. Very impressed with that. It looks, let me say at least, it looks to be an improvement because Shamira was bowling 140 clicks still. That is
yeah,
pace, no matter the type of wicket. So
yep,
he has definitely improved on that.
yeah.
And I hope he continues to improve.
And
Yeah,
in the
so
same token, we have to mention the other people in the team that seem deficient to the short ball, and it's something that as West Indies we don't think would be there, but it has crept into our game.
it's
Maybe it's
worrying,
because of the
Ezra.
same
It's
pitches.
worrying.
Yeah, it's worrying. Joseph
The
played two
silver
two uncontrolled
the
shots.
silver worried me
Yeah,
today
yep. So
concerning short ball. But we'll talk about that on another time.
yep,
Um, but we're pretty much winding down now, Ezzy. So tomorrow we like to put the make 3:30 to 3:50, getting the Sri Lankans, and hope that our bowling has improved over that first test.
yeah. So
So
in terms of the bowling for us, whenever we take the field, we cannot waste that new ball. Cannot. We have 5 quicks and they have to do the job up front. So in the first session that Sri Lanka bats, the first 30 overs, we need at least 3 wickets to 4, and that should be
to let the force that win.
yeah.
All, all right then, Ezra. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Thank you so much. This has been Ultra Edge on WICFA TV. Remember, hit that subscribe button if you like the content. Head over to the IG where we're going to be cutting up these clips so you can just get the little sound bites to take with you. Thank you so much, Ezzy, for
Yeah.
coming along. Tomorrow we may be joined by someone else, so another special guest. Let's hope. So Ultra Edge on WICFA TV. I'm the Doc. We're out.